Can you please call people from outside? We'll listen. I request all of you to settle down, take your respective seats. Welcome back, everyone. The next speaker is Mr. Asit. He's going to speak about landscape impact attributes, impact patterns of landscape of Ballari district in Karnataka.
Integrated Global Degree from ISL Kolkata, currently pursuing PhD in Econ as an inspired fellow. He is also a third overseas visiting doctor fellow at Purdue University, USA. Over to you, Atif.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Very good afternoon. It's a I'm really grateful for this opportunity to be able to present my talk in front of such great audience. Hi, I am Asit, and I am from the Division of Conservation Ecology from Saliveri Center. And today I am going to present my work, which is on the topic landscape and patch attributes impacting the patterns of mammalian assemblage in the fragmented landscape of Ballari district, Karnataka. This work is a part of a large landscape level project, which is the title Landscape Level Patterns of Mammalian Assemblage in Ballari district, Karnataka, and it is supervised by Dr. T. Ramesh. This project has three broad objectives. One, to determine land use gradients shaping mammalian communities, where we are trying to understand how human presence along with land use gradients and land use changes are affecting the behavior and distribution of mammalian species. Second objective is to assess species interaction driving behavioral responses of mammals. So here we are trying to investigate how the role of top predator is affecting the major predator and prey species. And third objective is to assess the impact of patch characteristics, that is size and isolation on mammalian assemblies. So in this talk, I will be only focusing on the first objective, that is to determine land use gradients shaping mammalian communities. Human presence and activities have caused habitat loss and fragmentation across various landscapes. As you know, human population is growing in an alarming rate, and to meet the need of this ever-growing population, there is increase in human activities and land use changes, which are in the forms of agricultural expansions, mining, NTF collections, firewood collection, industrialization, and livestock overgrazing. All these human activities are putting immense pressure on the remaining natural habitats, resulting in modified landscapes. These modified landscapes are generally associated with species with nocturnal lifestyle, small body size, small home range, and broader flexible needs. So thus we can say, with increasing human disturbances, there is change in species assemblage, decrease in functional diversity, and in worst case scenario, there is extinction of some species. Authorities across the globe have recognized protected area or PS for the conservation of biodiversities. This protected area provides protections from wildlife harvesting and livestock grazing. But unfortunately, these protected area are only encompass a small portion of landscape. In case of India, it's less than 5% of the total landscape. So thus we can say they are only efficient in safeguarding only a small proportion of biodiversity. Beside protected area, there are many non-protected area. In India, they are classified into reserve forest, community forest, village forest, and many other unclassed forests which provides buffers and corridors. So in this study, I will be only focusing on protected area, reserve forest. And in my study area, the protected area are comprised of two two wildlife habitats, that is sloth bear sanctuaries, Daroji sloth bear sanctuary and Gudekade sloth bear sanctuaries. And beside that, the third major land use type is adjoining free mosaic farmlands. So these are basically the farmlands adjacent to the forest, adjacent to some natural habitat like protected area, reserve forest, up to a distance of 1 kilometer. So understanding the response of different mammalian species to human disturbance presence or land use changes is important as it will provide critical information for conservation of biodiversity in the scale of in a various range of scale from starting from global to local level. So in these studies, I'm basically trying to link ecological and life history traits of species with the with the different land use types and land use changes to understand how they're surviving and success doing well in disturbed and modified landscape. So my so here I'm basically my data was collected using camera trap survey and using many landscape scale variables. I have done some analysis which I'm going to explain later to understand how uh, different mammals have different responses to different human disturbances. So my main hypothesis is that combination of functional tests will determine whether species are influenced positively or negatively by human disturbance, and there are few predictions like large mammals will be negatively affected by human presence. Dry open habitat generalist species like jackals, Indian fox will be negatively associated with natural habitats like canopy cover precipitations, and they will be like have strong association with slightly disturbed habitats like reserve forest and farmlands. And from the activity will be I expected that there will be increased activity and reduced habitat heterogeneity. There will be increase in nocturnal activity pattern. So now coming to the study area, my study area is Ballari Territorial Forest Division, which is situated in the southern part of Deccan Plateau. It has two different forests, tropical dry deciduous forest and tropical dry thorn forest. This landscape is prone to heavy human pressures, especially in case of mining. So there are, during my study area, there are more than 40 active mines, especially in case of iron and manganese. So Ballari is known to have more than 25% of the entire 25% of the entire India's iron ore reserve, and beside that there is also manganese mines. Beside mining, there is agricultural expansion, which is very prevalent in this area, as most of the local peoples here they belong to the agrarian background, and they also hold large number of livestock, which results in overgrazing as there is no pasture lands. Then there is NTFE collections, timber collections, firewood collections, and lastly human-wildlife conflict, which is in the form of brutality killing and poaching. So in the first picture you can see it's a camera trap photo from my study. Here you can see a leopard carrying a dead goat, and in the second picture there was a incident of human death from leopard attack, and after that they are translocating some few leopards, and in the third picture it was a photo from the during the COVID period. There was a steep increase in the number of poaching activities, and in the last picture you can see a poacher holding a dead black-napped hare. So coming to the methodology, since most of our data was collected in form of camera trap, so before starting the camera trap survey, we conducted mammalian science survey. So we first uh, overlaid a grid size of 1 into 1 square kilometer across the entire study area. Then we went to the centroid of that location and did at least 1 kilometer of sign survey, which was on the base of sign evidences just to identify the best potential location for the camera trap. And after finding the best locations, we placed one camera trap in each camera trapping grid, maintaining a minimum inter-trap distance of 500 meters, and all those camera traps are operated for 25 days. Some other data was collected from vegetation quantifications. So here we consider a circular plot of radius 20 meter across the camera trap locations, and then we estimated the canopy cover, rockiness, and calculated the number of dominant trees available there. Then similarly, we also estimated the coverage of herbs, grasses, and shrubs. Many other data was collected from many other verified layers like raw metals, like especially we use this layer to extract data like proximity related variables like settlement, distance to farmlands. And then from the camera trapping data, we also uh, collected many data like relative abundance index of human, cattle, goat, sheep, and dogs. So in total, 1,457 camera trapping grid cells were sampled during this survey, which comprised of 251 grid cells from protected area, 756 grid cells from reserve forest, and remaining 450 grid cells from the adjoining tree mosaic farmlands. So data was collected with an effort of 31,702 trap nights, and the study was conducted for 21 months. So in this picture, you can see the dark spots. These are all the camera trapping locations, and here you can see some of the dark color areas. Those are the protected area, and the light green color are the reserve forest, and the camera trap which are situated outside this forest area. Those are the camera traps that are considered to be camera traps of FMML, like free mosaic farmlands. So in total, 24 different mammalian species were recorded, out of which we consider 7 different mammalian species: black-napped hare, golden jackal, Indian fox, jungle cat, leopard, sloth bear, and wild pig, as they are belonging to different, having a wide range of functional traits. And since their data was enough to conduct some occupancy analysis. So coming here, here we have considered occupancy as habitat use, as some of our study species have home range higher than the sampling size. So here we have most likely have violated the closure assumption of occupancy modeling. So here we will be using the term habitat use. So for occupancy habitat use analysis, we identified 21 different habitat variables belonging to 4 broad categories: habitat features, landscape level human presence, climate, and local level human presence. So using single season occupancy model uh, in the on-mark package of R, we did this analysis. Coming to the habitat temporal use analysis, here we did analysis in 2 different ways. One is by constructing different activity patterns using overlap package, and then using uh, activity package to estimate the activity level of different mammalian species across different land use gradients, and all this comparison was done pairwise. Coming to the results, so habitat use estimates varied from 0.239 to 0.538, and here black-necked hare was the most photographed species. In overall, we found that 4 mammalian species had net negative impact from the human disturbances or human presence, and 3 species had positive response. So most of the important proximity variables like distance to settlements, distance to farmland was positively associated with habitat use of black-necked hare and leopard respectively. Local level human presence, like the presence of humans or dogs or livestock, had a positive impact on the habitat use of jungle cat and jackals, and it has a negative impact on habitat use of wild pigs. Similarly, reserve forest was positively associated with generalist species like jackal and fox, whereas protected area was highly positively associated with habitat use of sloth bear and black-necked hare. We also found that mean annual precipitation was one of the main common features, as the study was conducted in a very dry landscapes. Also, we found that larger mammalian species like sloth bear and leopards have a positive association with increase in the availability of canopy cover. From the temporal use analysis, we found that here you can see most of our species were like had nocturnal activity pattern with 2 bimodal peaks. Here is an example showing the different activity patterns across different land use type for leopard. Similarly, we did analysis for the remaining 6 species, and we found that smaller species like hare and jungle cat had similar activity pattern across different land use types. Jackals and fox, the generalist species, they had higher diurnal activity in reserve forest and farmland than in protected area. Leopard, sloth bear, and wild pig, which are bigger in size, had higher diurnal activity in wildlife habitats like protected area, reserve forest compared to farmlands. From the activity level estimate, we found that out of the 7 species, 5 species had significantly higher activity level in protected reserve forest compared to farmlands. Coming to discussion, we found that functional traits are the plays a prominent role in defining the responses of mammals towards human disturbances, especially large body size or carnivores or higher trophic level specialist species will have more negative association with human disturbances. With increase in across habitat different across different habitat types, with increase in human disturbances and reduction in habitat heterogeneity, there will be increase in nocturnal activities. And we found that with increase in modification of landscape, there will be increase in mammalian composition with higher association of smaller generalists, small species. Reduction in human activity will lead to wildlife to increase their diurnal activities. Sloth, bear, leopards, and had higher association with intact on disturbed landscapes. And also, major predator had higher association with modified landscape. So some of the main management recommendation are like reduction in uh, adverse effect of wildlife, that is reduction in mining activities, mining vehicular movements, strict restriction on illegal resource extraction, overgrazing and poaching activities. And before that, we will recommend new studies to understand how overgrazing, poaching activities and minings are affecting the mammalian species. We also recommend higher habitat heterogeneity with less disturbance should be maintained to sustain intact mammalian assemblies. Improved forest patch connectivity will return higher mammalian species diversity. Expanding protected network will certainly help the population of larger size mammals, but what about the species that are doing well or thriving well in outside the protected area? So for them, we recommend studies on species habitat characteristics and requirements. So with continued habitat modification and increased human activities, it is critical to identify which species can thrive and thrive or perish in landscape. So in order to uh, make management plans for the conservation of mammalian community in order to maintain diversity and for coexistence. I would like to thank all these people associated to the organization that helped me conducting this survey. Thank you.
Thank you, Vasil. The next talk has a science and policy interface. The dedicated credit card is going to be three forest divisions of Jharkhand, Hazaribagh Wildlife Division, Hazaribagh Forest Division, and then the Koram Forest Division. Who is going to be speaking about this? We in fact have two of the divisions DFOs, Mr. Suraj, who is who is managing Koram Forest Division, and we are lucky to also have Hazaribagh Wildlife Forest Division's DFO, Mr. Anish. So,
Rohit completed his master's in biology conservation from the NCPS in 2014. Thereafter, he has worked on the ecology of Bengal Hurricane with DHNS and Indian Swimmer with WIS. He is currently a PhD scholar and a senior project associate at WIS and EISL. Over to you, Rohit.
Thanks, Prashant. Good afternoon, everyone. I see people's heads shooting down, so I'll be very brief. I only have 93 slides. So this is a normal spring day in Kodarma Wildlife Sanctuary. Looks very pretty. So my presentation today will be more of a storytelling, less of occupancy and other results. So I start with a prologue, which is describing a short history of the landscape itself. Chota Nagpur Plateau has nothing to do with Nagpur of Maharashtra. It's just the name that it has gotten. You see, it's the Chota Nagpur Plateau was formed by a continental uplift process, and it is more than 500 million years old in its geological history. composed of Precambrian rocks, there are rocky escarpments, there are several tiny streams that flow throughout the plateau and have actually formed a peneplain. Peneplain is an area which is eroded by streams so much that it becomes kind of a flattened land. This is the broad location of the Chota Nagpur plateau. It acts as kind of a connection between the Satpura hills of MP and the eastern Himalayan region of India. My story is also about resource curse. This term was invented or first promulgated by an economic geographer called Richard Otti in 1993. Basically, what it says is that resource-rich regions, particularly if they are resource-dense, and particularly if they are resources concerned with fossil fuels and other minerals, major minerals like bauxite, iron ore, and other such minerals, they tend to you would assume that they'll have high economic development, but it is the opposite that happens. Our landscape suffers from the resource curse. It looks like it is very neatly forested, very highly forested, but the reality is slightly different. It is heavily fragmented, and as I said, major mineral resources are also concentrated in the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Well, if we are telling a story, we have to tell about its people as well. The region is known for the freedom fighter Birsa Munda, on which the Ranchi airport is also named. And the states itself, comprising the Chota Nagpur Plateau, for example, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, were formed on the basis of this movement called the Jal Jangal Jeevan. जमीन हमारा हमारी माँ है, इसे मत छीनो. And because of that, because of the resource curse, because of all these issues, it has been affected by left-wing extremism as well, which is fortunately coming down. My story is also about this ARS. The hashtag is not given by me. So this ARS, we have had only 2 or 3 presentations from Jharkhand. Presentations, all posters. In fact, from the entire Chota Nagpur area. Thus, it is our collective story today. My story also starts with Bachelor of Hazaribagh. This is a name given by a friend of mine who is also an environment historian, wildlife historian, Raza Kazmi, who lives in Hazaribagh. This is a massive tiger, and apparently this was brought down by a gentleman called Saha Imam in the year 1963. It probably rivals the Bachelor of Polgad that was brought down by Jim Corbett in 1930. See its massive head. You can imagine why the region was named Hazaribagh. But there are no tigers in Hazaribagh. The last tiger that was seen in Hazaribagh was in 1985. And thus I begin the presentation, which is a 2-part presentation. The first part deals with the imperfect present, as I just detailed, and the second part will deal with if the future can be salvaged or if it is precipitous. Linear infrastructure causes a lot of damage to wildlife and habitats. I don't need to go through it again. I think Dr. Bilal Habib gave a plenary talk of half an hour yesterday. It brings significant consequences to wildlife and habitats. Not only direct mortality, but it can also act as behavioral barriers. This is mass mortality of vultures that took place in Ranipur Wildlife Sanctuary a few years ago, and a myriad of effects that are very beautifully depicted in this graphic. There is a bias towards road ecology in the current state of affairs in research. In fact, not many studies have been done on railway, and it is interesting because as Dr. Bilal also mentioned, that traffic flow on railway is very infrequent. So it is not a permanent barrier. So on a road there might be heavy traffic, there is no letdown, and the entire chain of vehicles just act like a permanent barrier. It is not so in railways. Lower chemical pollutants as well. Very logical conclusion. There are certain knowledge gaps, although, when it comes to studies on effects of linear infrastructure. Focus has largely been on large mammals, limited understanding of mortality rates, especially in inconspicuous species, particularly small vertebrates and invertebrates are very, very understudied. Which now brings to the dedicated freight corridor that Gopi sir just talked about. So this company is a special purpose vehicle. Ministry of Railways is the overarching body, and they have already constructed the western DFC line. I think it's already operational as well. Even the eastern freight corridor is almost 80% operational. It is about 1,800 route kilometer long line. We, in this particular research exercise, in this project, we dealt with a smaller detour called the Koderma detour. I'll just mention why the Koderma detour happened because of geotechnical constraints. So, for example, the eastern dedicated freight corridor is coming from Punjab to Bengal. In between, it is finding this continental uplift, Chota Nagpur plateau. So it cannot really go on an even keel. So from the Gangetic plains, when it comes to Chota Nagpur plateau, the existing alignment, there is a railway, there is an existing railway which is currently carrying freight as well as passenger trains. But the vision of DFCCIL is to operate trains at 100 kilometers per hour. So the current gradient, the current line cannot support those high speeds. So they have proposed a 56.4 route kilometer detour. So obviously they had to pass through forest areas, and they submitted forest clearance proposals. From the Hazaribagh proposal, this project came to WII. Our job is to compile an integrated wildlife action plan, because this particular corridor, this particular Koderma detour alignment will fragment a very compact forest block, which I will just detail. Part 1. So, defining an impact zone is critical. We had very little knowledge of the area. There is very little research that has been done in that area. So that's why we have stuck with the term called impact zone. In fact, you'll see later that we have said that it is an immediate impact zone. We are not aware of the infrastructure effect zone. It could be very large. But before we could delineate impact, DFCCL has already impacted the trees. They have already marked them for felling. This is the alignment of Koderma detour. It largely runs parallel to the existing alignment, but the moment it comes across these hills, it has to take a detour because it has to run freight trains at very high speeds. So our process to delineate the impact zone was to make sure that the entire wildlife sanctuary that it is going to affect, that is Gautam Buddha Wildlife Sanctuary, is part of the impact zone. It is also going. It is just touching the edge of Koderma Wildlife Sanctuary as well. So we have incorporated the entire sanctuary into the impact zone. Additionally, it is also passing through two territorial forest divisions. So this compact forest block altogether is about 600 square kilometers. This is our immediate impact zone. These are just brief details of the impact zone. About 596 square kilometers, as I mentioned. This is how the forest looks there. It is largely tropical dry deciduous forest with patches of moist deciduous forest as well. Some parts are scrub and open forest as well. This is what I was talking about in the beginning. So you can see low elevation Gangetic plain towards the north, and then you just come across these hills in Jharkhand. Again, the same depiction. Several streams and rivers flow through the study area. And if we look at the study area in a larger landscape, it actually offers connectivity from Bimban Sanctuary in Bihar, is to the east, right up till the Sanjay complex in Madhya Pradesh. And this is a complex of about 13 or 15 protected areas with 5,500 square kilometers of protected landscape. This is where our impact zone is located. Very basic features I have just described, so I'll just run through these. Generally undulating terrain, Precambrian and Jurassic rocks. Our objective is to draft an integrated wildlife action plan, but more importantly, also conduct a baseline flora and fauna study, because research work is very few in this landscape. We also conducted a very thorough social ecological investigation, and these investigations will directly inform the structural and non-structural mitigation measures that we will detail in our integrated wildlife action plan. Very briefly, we just wanted to cover a very intensively the region just around the proposed alignment. So we had transects placed every 250 meters all along the alignment that falls into Jharkhand, because some part of it goes into Bihar as well here, which is also Gautam Buddha Sanctuary, but of the Bihar part. So, but our mandate here was to deal with only Jharkhand. So there are 250. There are several transects all along the alignment, proposed alignment, and then for the larger landscape, for the impact zone, which is around 600 square kilometer, we had delineated them into 3 square kilometer grids. We had superimposed 3 square kilometer grids, which were about 211 in number, of which we selected 69 for landscape level sampling. 2 season surveys for herpetofauna, birds and mammals, while vegetation data and socio-ecological data was collected throughout. This is in brief how we laid vegetation plots. Mammalian sampling likewise were also very systematically made. There are about 155 villages in the entire landscape. Of these, we chose to do semi-structured questionnaire surveys in about 16 villages and 6 tribal settlements that are in the immediate vicinity of the alignment, while in the larger landscape, we conducted several more. I just want you to look at these 2 blue dots closely and why we call them tribal settlements. These are located deep inside the forest, and the people who are currently living there, they belong to the Munda community, and they came to this place when the state of Jharkhand was formed, and currently they don't have any legal status. These settlements don't have any legal status, but they are completely dependent on the nearby forest. These are very small hamlets. Each hamlet might comprise of only 5 to 10 households. Results. Very briefly, we found high floral diversity. These are some indices that we computed for vegetation. Of course, it is dominated, the entire landscape is dominated by sal. This is a major problem in the landscape, alien invasive weed, Lantana camera, and what we found is that it is almost more than 20% in all the areas that we surveyed. Vegetation wise, this is the composition. Fabaceae is the most dominant family, species rich family. This is the most important result that we derive from the vegetation. You can see that these are canopy cover measurements taken from Gautam Buddha Wildlife Sanctuary. Along the alignment is around 40 plus, while in the larger landscape, but in the sanctuary, is only 22, which means that the alignment is passing through very dense patch of forest.
With you have to finish another 1 minute.
Yes, I will finish in 2 minutes.
You said I'm going to speak in brief, you speak in detail.
Sorry, not this bird. These birds, how many species did we come across? More than 120 species of birds in only our surveys. We have not computed the opportunistic records that we got, which we will do in the meanwhile, in later on. 28 species of mammals we recorded from the entire area. This is all what the effort entailed, and this is the results that we got. pretty high density of spotted deers, four-horned antelope, which is a globally threatened species, black-naped hare, and others. There is one missing piece in this link, which some of you may have already seen. We don't have presence of carnivores. Only one single record of a leopard pugmark from the entire survey of 1 year. Sloth bear a few records, and of course 1 or 2 records of Asian elephant. Grey wolf, interestingly, are also found in this landscape. They don't only occupy open areas, they also use tropical dry deciduous forest. Rusty spotted cat's image was for the first time recorded in the wild from this landscape. And that's all. So we just constructed a basic heat map, kernel density map of signs, mammalian signs, and this is what informs our mitigation measure suggestions. So we have covered around 28% of the proposed alignment. We have actually proposed to keep it as permeable. This is provisional. We will add additional structures, and this proportion might increase. There are issues, of course. There are several issues. That is why carnivore signs and carnivore population is extremely low or non-existent. What have we delivered so far? From a very rapid study, we were able to submit an indicative report to the Jharkhand Forest Department, and the integrated wildlife action plan is in the making. This, a largely compact forest block will now be diverted for for non-forest use, for railway, and forever there will be this large infrastructure that will bisect this compact forest block. Mitigation might serve as band-aid, but will policy level structural issues prevent us from rethinking this entire project altogether is the question that I am asking. Can a longer route or bunching with existing infrastructure be possible? Again, a question that I am asking. High forest dependency, so forest departments need to work with people, and recruitment of staff need to be done at urgently. Just a few questions, sir. Just 30 seconds. 30 seconds, sir. 30 seconds. What is it that we are lacking? We have in this particular room, we have an intellectual capacity of massive proportions. There are people who have worked for their entire lifetime in wildlife. I think we have former director of Wildlife Institute here, there is Rajesh Gopal Sahab. What I am asking is, this is what we are lacking in our current policy process, monitoring. This committee has been proposed by the Forest Advisory Committee, but we all know how monitoring is in our country. We will submit this integrated wildlife action plan, but what will happen of it? Will monitoring be done as has been suggested by the FSC or not, is the question that I am asking. In fact, we have gone ahead and suggested to have a 7-member committee. Will this be formed or not? These are my questions that I leave with to the audience and to the August members present here. Thank you very much.
We have speaker, Dr. Vinit. Vinit will be speaking about monitoring effects and the adaptation strategies development in Indian environment.
Dr. Vinit Dubey has joined PhD from Lucknow University and BFGR. He joined WI in 2013 and has worked in various capacities. He is currently working as a project scientist in the DST project. Over to you, Dr. Vinit.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Maps are always interesting. It tells you lots of stories. And this one is also telling some stories, but this story is concerning. I want your attention on the India's map. As you can see, we lack long-term time-series biodiversity data. As we work on climate change, we need such kind of data. We use such kind of data to infer the long-term trends, the good news. Under India's National Action Plan on Climate Change, we have several missions. One of the missions is National Mission for Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem, dedicated to work on the Himalayan ecosystem and also promoting the long-term monitoring of Himalayan wildlife. The NMC has 6 task forces being designated by the DST to work on microflora, fauna, and wildlife animal population. The Wildlife Institute of India has started this work in 2014, and now we are entering into the phase 2 of this project. I will be presenting the overview, what we have done in the phase 1 of this project, and will try to bridge the gap between phase 1 and phase 2 of this project. We have a strong team of dedicated faculty members, researchers, who all are working efficiently on several components. We have 5 different components: the soil components, the aquatic, the semi-aquatic, terrestrial, and we are now adding a different additional components, the landscape component, where we will be developing the web-based decision support system, which will utilize different databases to help policymakers and stakeholders. Our objective include predicting the impact of climate change on wildlife populations, to generate microclimatic patterns through automated fine-scale data generation, to assess the ecosystem health under climate change, and to also characterize the landscape identified in climate refugia. And we are also developing a special database infrastructure, and we are also establishing permanent monitoring sites and plots for long-term monitoring. We selected 3 river basin in phase 1, and now we are moving to the West Kameng basin. We exclusively sampled the 3 river basin, Beas, Bhagirathi, and Tista, and will be sampling through the West Kameng basin in phase 2. For sampling, we standardize our methodology in phase 1. We select a basin as a unit for sampling and divide it into 16 by 16 kilometer grid. These grids were further subdivided into 4 by 4 kilometer grids. We follow trails on certain grids, deploy data loggers, open top chambers, and also there are several monitoring methods for each taxa. When we started this project in 2014, we hardly have data to see any information on climate change. We reviewed literature, which is of around 4,000 literature, and we got to know that there are plentiful of literature available on the climate change aspect, which talk about the climate change baseline patterns. And when we completed this project in 2019, we published several publications which talk about the long-term phenology, long-term aspects, and also model output for several selected species of the Indian Himalayan region. We published around 1660 publications. As you see, there is a sharp shoot in the impact factor, which reflects the quality of research we are doing in the phase 1 of this project. Coming to the results, we assessed soil bacterial community and the role of temperature. The results suggest that there is a critical role of edaphic properties over temperature, and the bacterial community are resilient to the environmental changes. This is the study for a selected time window. And we have also assessed the warming response of ecosystem respiration and soil respiration on herbaceous meadows and sedge meadows. The results suggest that there is an increase in plant height, which was reflected in the plant growth, in the leaf length and height. And we have also assessed the soil nematode communities. So far, we have identified 15 species of soil nematodes, and under the open top warming setup, the nematode showed lower predatory nematode abundance, nematode kernel ratio, and plant parasitic index. As part of the detailed exploration in the NMT project, we identified several new records, discovered several new species, one of them being Amelos sedicola, which my colleague Natik already presented. And in the same vein, we have also got to know several new distribution records of mammalian fauna. These data are important when we are trying to establish the baseline pattern and the ranging patterns of mammalian fauna. That will help us to establish a baseline pattern, ranging pattern in the future scenarios. We extensively monitored the snow leopard identified corridors which are important for the species for the movement. We identified certain patches which can be prioritized in the future scenarios. For some selected species which are restricted range in nature like musk deer, we have modeled the species for this future scenarios. As you can see, the species is losing its range from 3000 below elevations and will try to move up in the higher elevation in the future scenarios. But there are limited patches will be available for the species to go in the higher elevations. We suggest that there are certain habitat patches, contiguous protected area network that should be conserved in order to protect the species in the future time periods. We also selected one of the model species, the snow trout, Sizophrex richardsoni, which is one of the prime species distributed all along the Himalayan rivers, and which is one of the model species to see the climate change impact. We model the species for the future scenarios, and you can see the patterns. The red ones are the lost area, and the blue ones are the area which the species will going to adapt in the higher elevations. As we zoom on the Indus River, Indus Basin, as you can see how the species will be losing its area and will be moving to the higher directions. But however, there are dams, and we are also incorporating the effect of barriers and dams and incorporating our models, so how well we can predict the species in the future. As you can see, we have also modeled the elevation shift. You can see in the year 2050, the species is losing its range from the lower elevations, that is depicted in the red color, and it is gaining its range, that is depicted in the blue color. But the situation will be worse in 2070, where there will be more loss from the lower elevation, but the gain will be less in the higher elevation. Ultimately, the species will have a high altitude squeeze in the future scenarios. Regardless of RCPs, global circulation models we have used in this species for modeling, there is ultimately a loss which is ranging between 16 to 26%. Study area in phase 2 now, we are going to sample West Kameng basin by including other basins. We have now started our work in West Kameng basin. We just deployed camera trap and are following different strategies for different taxa. We have also installed open top chamber for monitoring the soil respiration rates in the Bhagirathi basin. And we are also monitoring the cross-latitudinal comparisons of macroinvertebrate communities. We got very interesting pattern in this. As you can see, as we move up in the higher latitudes, the ecotones were placed in the lower altitudes. As you are aware that if you know about the tree lines, these are the ecotones, and we identify the ecotones in freshwater ecosystems. As we move in the lower latitudes, the ecotones are placed in the higher elevations. These really are the important when we are monitoring these trends in the long-term direction. Similarly, as Amarjit already presented this talk, similar trends we are also observing in the barn swallows. As you can see, the breeding elevations of the Srinagar populations are higher in altitude when you go up in the latitudes. However, the Uttarakhand and North Bengal populations are breeding at the lower elevations when you go in the lower latitudes. However, the Imphal Valley population is entirely different, which also reflected in their breeding ranges. As Amarjit already talked about this presentation, there is a contact zone between the Rasita and Putralis population, and the Imphal population might be isolated. And this is also reflected in their body size variations. As you can see, the Imphal Valley population has the larger wing length as compared to other populations. So our idea is to cover the entire Himalaya in terms of long-term monitoring, and now we are setting a long-term database in terms of gonatosomatic index. It is the body size gonad ratio of the fishes, and we are covering
Parvati, Tirthan, Asiganga and West Kameng Basin, and we got really interesting trends. We have selected Asiganga, Parvati, Tirthan and West Kameng Basin. For now, as you can see, the data is from 2016 to 2023, latest from the West Kameng Basin. The Asiganga being the control site, this is having only the snow drought. Parvati having snow drought, ground drought and damming effect. Tirthan having snow drought and the invasion effect, and West Kameng is having only the snow drought. Asiganga population being the control site is maturing on a normal pattern. It generally matures in the winters and the monsoon seasons. However, if you see the Tirthan population, it is maturing all along the rivers, meaning that due to the invasion pressure, the fish is investing more its energy in the breeding patterns. However, in Parvati, due to damming pressure, the snow trout is maturing very less and not showing the normal patterns. So we will be collecting the entire West Kameng basin for different taxa. So far, we have collected 82 species. We just started our sampling in December. 82 species of butterflies and 46 species of macroinvertebrates and 8 fish species. We have also sampled 22 amphibian species and reptile species. We are also monitoring how the ambient temperature and the skin temperature of envelope species are correlating with each other, including when we compare at different elevations. So far, we have identified 20 mammalian fauna. Our major idea is to develop a web-based decision support system where we want to collate all the information related to species database, climate change scenarios, phenological observation on a single platform for different stakeholders and also for the researchers. We are also in the phase 2. We are also applying several new approaches. We will be monitoring the thermal habitats of the streams by deploying the aquatic data loggers, and so far we have deployed 12 data loggers, and we will be monitoring the entire basin in the upcoming years. Our idea is to model the thermal habitats of these aquatic species and integrate the future climatic scenarios to model the thermal habitat in future conditions. We are also integrating dynamic energy budget modeling to model the microclimatic patterns for the selected amphibians and reptile species. And with this, I would like to thank following people.
Thank you for the very information in one time. We invite the next speaker. Speaker is Akanksha. Akanksha is going to speak about safe place to cross the road, use of crossing structures for wildlife and the tidal landscape, and implications for multi-species coding pattern.
Akansha studied environmental science for her graduation and post-graduation degrees. For her PhD, she assessed the impacts of roads on wildlife and around tiger reserves in central India. Over to Akansha.
Thank you, Prashant. Road networks like these are a marvel of the human endeavor, but we can all agree that, like a lot of other things, the inspiration for roads have been taken from nature. Historically, humans moved to conquer new territories and to escape conflict. But in recent years, roads are a pathways to economic growth and prosperity. And like humans, wildlife also moves daily and seasonally for multiple reasons. And also historically, animals have moved in response to anthropogenic and global change. But this is the Anthropocene and our pathways today collide. In multiple places around the world, roads, which are the most prominent mitigation measures would work for them best. This brings me to the topic of my talk today, the use of crossing structures and important tidal landscape. I'm Akansha and I will be presenting the results of the ongoing long-term monitoring of the crossing structures on National Highway 44, which passes through the Pench Tiger Reserve in Maharashtra. This monitoring is a collaboration between us and the Maharashtra Forest Department and NTCA. So, within the Central Indian landscape, Pench and Prana tiger reserves are important tiger reserve populations, and they are connected by corridors which enable tiger and wildlife movement. But Central India also has a high road density, and this is where one of the most contentious cases of the road aggregation occurred in the recent past. This is the National Highway 44 passing through the Pench tiger reserves in MP and Maharashtra. And after a long legal battle, a set of mitigation measures were constructed along initially along the Maharashtra section of the highway. So in all, there were a total of 9% structures which varied between 50 and 750 meters in length. And this is a visual representation of where these structures are distributed. This is how the crossing structures look, and these are divided into minor bridges and annular underpasses based on the presence or absence of natural drainage under them. So, since this is one of the first preliminary cross-structure monitoring programs, we had a few basic questions such as which species are using the structures, what are the factors affecting this use, what are the temporal patterns of use by wildlife, and how are tigers using the crossing structures. We monitored the crossing structures using camera traps and set up one camera trap per span. A span here is the intervening gap between two pairs of adjacent pillars under each underpass. So, for example, this crossing structure is 100 meters in width, it has 5 spans, so we put 5 camera traps here. So, we deployed the camera traps under the crossing structures and also in the habitat right next to the highway for comparison, and also data compared with data from within the time. After every session, we downloaded the data and we segregated into structure, span, and wildlife species folders, and subsequently assessed the richness of species and the factors affecting it, the factors affecting use by species, the temporal patterns were assessed using the timestamps on this camera pictures, and tiger individuals were identified using the Pench Tiger Reserve tiger diagram. A few of the factors that I used to assess species richness and use by species were the width, presence or absence of drainage, presence or absence of human trails, anthropogenic capture rate, and the terrain of the span and the approach to the cross structure. So we found a range of wildlife species within the crossing structure, from the largest animal called to the smallest rusty spotted cat, solitary carnivores such as sloth bear, tigers, social carnivores like owls, group-living ungulates like white-tailed cheetah, and small mammals like jungle cat and hare. In all, as of December last year, we found 21 different wild mammal species within the crossing structures, and also a few, like 1,000 lemur and rhesus macaque captures that I could not analyze. As expected, the species richness under the crossing structure was less than that inside Pench, but probably given the open nature of the crossing structures, the richness was a bit higher than that what we recorded in the case habitat. And also, as expected, the mean species richness increased with cross structure width. So, of course, the rate of use and the frequency of use varied between species. While some species were captured, photo captured within a few months of the monitoring, there were a few species which were captured much later and much more sporadically. So, while species such as cheetah, tiger, white-tailed jungle cat were captured equally, more or less equally among all the structures, there were a few species that were using specific structures only. And this we hypothesized could be because of their low local abundance or preference of undisturbed habitats such as the rusty spotted cat, or probably because of competition by large carnivores, as in the case of golden darter, which is otherwise highly locally abundant. sometimes hunted under the crossing structures on at least 3 occasions. While there was a big insignificant increase with crossing structure width, we found that white dogs definitely preferred the larger animal underpasses as opposed to the minor bridges. Leopards were not as frequently captured as tigers and wolves. However, we did see some level of habituation over the years. And an important finding here was that leopards prefer to use crossing structures which had some human trails under the crossing structures. Cheetal was a single wild animal species which has the highest captures, and the use by cheetal decreased with increasing distance to the protected area and with increasing width. Gaur and sambar are otherwise, as compared to cheetal, disturbance averse. They're not really found as frequently near the highway as well. And we found that they prefer to use crossing structures which had proximal vegetation cover. This is probably their anti-predator response. Among small mammals, we found hare, jungle cat, porcupine, mongoose, and common civet as very frequent users of underpasses. And as I mentioned, there is a range of factors that affect the use by these species. So, to sum up, species behavior dictates how animals use artificial structures such as crossing structures, and one size will never fit all. Instead, structural heterogeneity in terms of design and size would cater to the needs of most animals in a landscape. So, the crossing structures are like a funnel in the landscape which funnels animal into this constricted space. So, we think there would be factors such as interactions with competitors and predators that would influence, temporarily affect how animals use these structures, and of course, the traffic flying on the road above. So, we found two main broad types of responses in terms of temporal patterns. Cheetah, tiger, and roll did not show any significant changes in comparison to their natural activity patterns, while gaur, leopard, and sambar showed a significantly reduced activity under the crossing structures. So the crossing structures are built with the tigers as the main focal species. So we had to answer how tigers are using the crossing structure. This is T1, the dominant male, and he was found to be using 4 crossing structures along the 10-kilometer length of the highway near its home range. And this female that has been captured throughout the 4 years and still today, and has been seen with at least 2 different leaders throughout the monitoring period. In all, we recorded more than 1,000 tiger captures and identified at least 20 tiger individuals. Of these, we recorded 7 which were in the tiger page album, and others which were less frequently captured could be transients. If you remember, I said that crossing structure width tends to decrease the use by tigers. However, we found that the larger crossing structures were able to accommodate more tiger individuals. Therefore, larger crossing structures were probably important for territorial animals like tigers. Our study is significant because this is the first long-term monitoring of crossing structures in the tiger restructuring, and this has the potential to inform future mitigation measures on Indian infrastructure. We periodically provide insights and inputs from the monitoring and have published 2 research papers from the monitoring. In addition, the Canada data gave us a treasure trove of information about how animals behave in artificial man-made structures, such as this picture, which probably shows that bulls are now comfortable using the structures because they're bringing the young ones under the crossing structure. In the initial phase of the monitoring, for Nilgai, Gaur, and Sambar, we found mostly solitary males using the crossing structures, but recently we have found female herds with young ones using the structures. This is a rare sighting of a Belgian leopard which is captured near the border with French. And we found both marking the territory under the crossing structures as well as tigers. And this picture and the next one taken
Environment and Sustainable Development from place. She worked with WTI on human wildlife interactions. She joined WI as a project fellow in 2019 and currently pursuing her PhD from IIT Guwahati. What do you mean?
Thank you for the introduction, sir. A very warm evening to one and all present here. I'm going to talk about the coherence of local institutions in securing people-park interface around Kaziranga Tiger Reserve. For the head of the EDC and the DTP, because it is believed that the head of the local institution also act as the first responder to any village situation. All our interviews were completely unstructured, and for this matter, we have done extensive manual coding in terms of data analysis. We identified 388 open codes. These open codes were developed into categories, and at the final stage, we developed 19 themes. Since the main purpose of the study is to identify the perception and the action of the local institution, our study is influenced by the theory of plant behavior. The theory of plant behavior explains three kinds of intention to perform any sort of behavior. First is the attitude towards the behavior. It is the favorable or the unfavorable appraisal to perform a behavior. The second is the social pressure to perform a behavior. And the third is the most important, that is the level of confidence to perform a behavior. As a part of the ethical consideration, we have obtained written consent from all the 103 respondents. Coming to the findings, Village Defense Party is a very unique institution in Assam, which is formed by 25 local youth. The main duty of the VDP is to give night patrolling from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the night, and it comes under the control of the police station. So since the Village Defense Party is very close to Kaziranga, so their duty increases. For example, during the flood time, it is the Village Defense Party who helps the Forest Department and the NGOs to give time cards for all the vehicles plying on the National Highway 37. It is very interesting to note that the VDP opines that during their night patrolling duty, all the respondents have encountered with wildlife at least at some point of their life, but they believe the wild animal only attack those person who comes with an evil intention. So, since last year, the cases of cattle smuggling has increased manifold in all the fringe villages of Kaziranga, and it is the role of the VDP to question those persons. And there are more 25 cases where the VDP had handed over cattle smuggler to the police, and the VDP thinks that a cattle thief can also be a potential poacher. However, we found that 68% of the VDP members were not happy with the honorarium that they received. That is, it is only 2,500 per month. But there is no unfavorable appraisal towards the flood monitoring duty and also interrogating unknown persons at night. This is largely influenced by the positive attitude and positive peer pressure. This board that you can see is a VDP announcement which says that after 7 p.m. if you enter the fringe village, you are answerable to the VDP. The Eco Development Committee is mainly working to strengthen the financial capital in all the villages in terms of handloom training, goat and poultry training, beekeeping, and also computer literacy training. However, despite the fact that all the EDCs are perceived as a face of the forest department to evict their land in the name of tiger reserve. A study found that there is inadequate appraisal of livelihood intervention. For example, across all the villages, we have seen that around 14 lakhs is being spent on constructing this community hall. However, amidst the situation of such a vulnerable livelihood, instead of spending 14 lakhs in this hall, they can invest 12 lakhs in buying these agricultural tools. The village headman had opined that weak compensation mechanism for crop damage and livestock loss can trigger intolerance. However, at some point, cultural connotations plays a very important role in maintaining positive behavior towards wildlife and also the PA management. Our study found that there's a positive correlation with the fear of eviction and risk of negative people-park interface, especially in places like 6th edition and the 3rd edition of the park, where the entire stretch of Brahmaputra in the north side was declared as a part of the tiger reserve. And since then, the age-old livelihood of fishing was completely banned from the Vishwanath Wildlife Division. You can see this picture. It's a very hostile focus group discussion that we had, and people were not willing to form eco-development committee because still they perceive that it is a technique of the government to buy their lands. So for a place like Kaziranga, which has more than 2,500 rhinos, 1,700 elephants, and one of the highest density of tiger and buffalo, human-wildlife conflict is completely inevitable. In this context, the people, they somehow believe that it is embedded in the Assamese culture to respect forest and also the animals. In case of elephant, in our culture, we don't call elephant as hati. It is called as baba, which is related to large body size and also the wisdom. Every year in the month of November, during the Kharif crop offering, the first offering of the paddy is given to the elephant in the edge of the park, so that the agricultural yields will be more good in the coming years. We also found that tiger and elephant are one of the most important problem species, despite the fact it holds a very significant part in all the Assamese handloom. This is a wall decor. So with the support from the Eco Development Committee and the Gram Panchayat, Wildlife Institute of India established a community-based tourism model in this year, January, based on the principles of sustainable livelihood framework, where we had done a very extensive survey of 456 households from 2019. So the main attractions of this ecotourism model is ethnic food, and we have also facilitated in the production of the food license. There is also live exhibition of all the traditional fishing gear, and also there is live exhibition of the rice beer making. So 16% households in Panbari village is involved in this intervention, and from January we have, and from the month of January they have generated an income of more than 1 lakh. Till now they had a visitor of number 259, including the Indian Information Service trainees and also students from TISS MSW batch. We are also, like, after the intervention of Eco Development Committee in the handloom training, we also got a boost up to fine tune the rhino and dolphin motifs in all the scarf and stole. And we have established marketing linkages with one of the most popular e-commerce platform, that is the pashupakshi.com. And for this initiative of Wildlife Institute of India, last year the Assam government has also given us an appreciation letter, because it is one of the first of its kind initiative from the entire Kaziranga landscape. And as of now, 5 SHG households are directly involved in this initiative. So, despite the fact that we saw there is immense fear of eviction, there is human-wildlife conflict, there is judgment towards Eco-Development Committee, but still there is no case of intentional killing and also hostile attitude towards the Forest Department. And this is mainly guided by 3 parameters. First is the attitude towards the behavior, which is the behavioral beliefs and intention to conserve Kaziranga landscape as a part of the ancestral heritage. People still consider Kaziranga to their Assamese nationality, and also rhino specially. It is also the mascot of the state transport corporation. The second parameter is a subjective norm, which is the normative beliefs and the motivation to comply and continue the legacy of belongingness towards this Kaziranga landscape. And third is the control belief and the capability to offer duty in tough situation and handle miscreants. So amidst all this, a positive thing, we know that human behavior is always subjected to change. Today, I have positive perception towards rhino, tiger, or Kaziranga, let's say, but tomorrow I might not have. So in this situation, it is very important that, our aspiration, perceptions are taken care of. And for this matter, we have recommended 6 points in terms of action and policy. For the Village Defense Party, we, like the study suggests, that we need to explore opportunities to increase their honorarium. Second, for the Eco Development Committee, it is very important to do judicious assessment of the entry point activities, because we have seen that across all the villages, the same microplan is being replicated without any proper need-based assessment. For the Panchayati Raj institutions, it is very important to have career counseling for the local youth, because we have seen that there's a preconceived notion that being a part of the local institution means direct entry to the forest department. But this is completely a distorted notion. So in terms of employment, we rather than focusing all the career counseling sessions in the urban area, it is important that any fringe villages near a tiger reserve or a national park, there should be career counseling sessions for strengthening the human capital. And lastly, it is very important to have frequent dialogues with the community to dismantle myth associated with tiger reserve, and also developing site-specific livelihood intervention. So I would like to thank National Tiger Conservation Authority, Director, Dean, and Registrar Wildlife Institute of India, and all the staff from Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve Authority for supporting this study conducted from the social science perspective. And lastly, I would like to wish everyone a very happy World Rhino Day. Thank you.
For completing well on time. The final presentation of the session will be delivered by Anurag Singh, who is going to talk about mangrove vegetation response to coastal alert and subsidence caused by coastal harming in the Magic Club of
Anup has completed his master's in environmental science from Delhi University. Currently, he is pursuing PhD from Gurukul Kanpur University.
Good evening and namaste. Thank you, Prashant, for such a lovely introduction. Let me take you to the mangroves of Andaman Island, where the mangroves were severely degraded due to coastal uplift and subsidence in the archipelago of Andaman and Nicobar. I will explain you in a bit about. I'll explain you uplift and subsidence in detail in the coming slides. So mangroves are coastal ecosystem which reside between land and sea. They offer uh, numerous ecosystem services right from harboring high biodiversity to securing the coastal communities in terms of livelihood and source of income to combat climate change by acting as an excellent carbon stock and also protect the coastal marginal families from tsunami and hurricanes. Mangroves also in general forms zonation pattern because they often they receive tidal water inundation at every 6 hours twice in a day. And if you see the graph on the top, it has the high bars are basically the spring tide, whereas the low bar are basically the neap tide. And this mangrove species, which is situated at the landward zone, requires minimum amount of tidal water, and hence only they are going to receive tidal water only once in an entire tidal cycle. However, the mangrove which are located in the seaward zones require lot amount of tidal water. Hence, they are situated at the seaward zone. So, what is the implication of this zonation pattern and tidal water? What would happen if there is sudden change in the tidal inundation pattern? This is what exactly happened on the morning of 26 December 2004, where the earthquake and tectonic shift happened in the uh, in the in the Andaman Islands, and it has impacted and coastal biodiversity of almost all the Southeast Asian countries. Additionally, it has created uplift and subsidence in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. I would like to grab your attention to the image on your left, where there is a black dotted line, which is a fault line of the earthquake. The area above this line, which is indicated in red in color, they are basically uplifted. That means the land has actually came out of the water, whereas the area below this dotted line, that is blue in color, is subsided. That means the land has actually gone inside the water. Suppose this is the Andaman surface. Imagine this situation in 2D. Right after the upliftment, the northern part of the Andaman island was uplifted by 1.4 meter, and the south Andaman and Nicobar was subsided by around 3 meter. However, there is no change, no significant change was seen in the middle Andaman. This is one side from North Andaman. I would like to draw your attention at two points. One is the shoreline, and second one is the pristine mangrove patch. This is image from 2004, and now this is the recent image from the same side, where you see because of the land upliftment, the coastline has shifted almost 100 meters to 1 kilometers toward the seawards, and all the pristine mangroves is completely wiped off. Now this area is taken over by the mangroves, ecosystem, and few terrestrial plants. And this particular site has lost almost 95% of the mangrove. Similarly, in the subsided sites, because the land has gone down, the tidal water has permanently inundated in this area, which caused hypoxic condition mangroves, and let the mangroves die off completely. However, despite this severe negative impact, the coastal land uplift and subsidence has provided us an opportunity to study sea level drop in a living in situ laboratory, where the new intertidal habitat was created towards the seaward zone, which is now being colonized by mangrove. And the event has also given us another opportunity to study sea level rise, where the new where the new habitat was created towards the landward zone, and it is, for example, if you see coconut groups and terrestrial forest is now being taken over by the mangroves, and in some sites we notice that back mangrove that requires minimum amount of tidal water is being taken over by the mangrove species which require more amount of tidal inundation, that is rhizophora species. So with this background, we formulated four objectives. One is to understand the long-term impact of subsidence and uplift on the mangrove community composition. one is to understand the colonization pattern happening in this new tidal area, and third one is to estimate the potential area available for mangrove colonization in this area, and fourth one is what are the drivers which are influencing in the mangrove colonization, and what could be the priority restoration strategy could be suggested to the frontline staff. So to conduct the study, we adopted separate methodology for uplift and subsided sites, where in the uplift sites, we laid a transit from old coastline or shoreline to the new low tide line, and to a total of 369 plots of 10 into 10 were laid in both uplift and control sites, whereas similarly in the subsided sites, uh, because the new intertidal habitat was created in the landward zone, hence we try to capture the heterogeneity of the entire subsided area. Therefore, we laid total of 6 plots in one transit, where 2 were laid in the landward zone, 2 in the seaward zone, and 2 in the mid zone. A total of 494 plots were laid to in the subsided sites. Now coming to the result part, first we will discuss the results of objective 1 and 2, and then followed by 3 and 4. Now we find that in the uplifted sites, the number of tree individual per unit per plot was lowest, whereas in the control side it was highest. And this is what we expected when we started this study, because this uplifted site is a dead coral boulders. It is very difficult for propagules to establish in this area and to penetrate through the uh, uplifted dead coral boulders. And if you see in the control side, since this habitat has not experienced any significant change in the tidal regime, therefore therefore all the trees are intact, and since the canopy is closed and there is no space for sapling and seedling to colonize in the ground, therefore the number of recruitment layer is lesser. However, in the subsided sites, the pattern looks different. It's look haphazard. So to understand it in much better way, what I did is I separated the South Andaman part and the Nicobar part separately. Now, if you closely look at the Nicobar part, which is depicting similar pattern to the uplifted sites, because this Nicobar part has experienced nearly 3 meters of subsidence, and nearly 97% of mangrove were wide of completely dead. Hence, the entire area is open for colonization. Therefore, the number of sapling, the recruitment layer is higher in the Nicobar Island. But if you see in the South Andaman, since this area has experienced only 1 meter of subsidence, hence some of the trees were able to survive that subsidence and able to produce proper yields. Hence, the number of trees and number of seedlings were higher in the subsided site. Now, if you look at the dominance of the species colonizing in this area, we found that at the uplifted sites, it's mostly round shape or small propagules, which is, for example, Avicennia, and large propagule, for example, Rhizophora, is colonizing. But if you see in the subsided area, it is mostly large propagule, that is Rhizophora, is colonizing in this area, which is depicting a similar pattern as the control site, which suggests that subsided area is already has started mimicking the control sites, but the uplifted site has long way to go. Also, we notice presence of terrestrial plants in this area in the uplifted sites, which suggests that as per mangrove theory, if the mangrove is replaced by another mangrove, then it is a non-successional phase forest. That is the case of subsided area. And if the mangrove is replaced by another terrestrial plant, then it is called as a successional phase forest. That is the case of uplifted sites. Now we try to see the species difference between species composition in different cohorts and different sites, and we found that in the tree sapling and seedling of control sites there were no difference. But in the disturbed site we found that there is significant difference between tree sapling and seedlings. However, the difference between sapling and seedling in the uplift cohort is insignificant, because this area is open for all the vegetation, because it's a bare land and it's open for all the vegetation to colonize. Hence this area, the propagules which are coming here is available for all the propagules to colonize. Now we also try to see the rate of mangrove colonization in this newly created intertidal habitat. So for that, we selected one of the sites from North Andaman, and we monitored this site for 3 continuous years. And we found that these new habitats is being colonized by rhizophora because the number of rhizophora are higher in this habitat, and also in the tree cohort, if you see, only rhizophora species are present. Whereas if you see the other species like Avicennia and Soneresia, it seems like they have recently colonized and their number is fluctuating, rather it is decreasing for some reasons. Overall, we noticed that there is a linear increase in the number of individuals colonizing this area from 2 in the initial phase to nearly 12 per year per hectare in 2023. So coming to the third objective, we tried to estimate the potential area available for mangrove colonization, and this work we did only for Nicobar part, and we found that nearly 78.8 square kilometer of area is available for mangrove colonization, whereas nearly 21, that is 4.6 square kilometer, is already colonized. So while we were inventorizing the vegetation survey, we found several new distribution record in entire Andaman and Nicobar Island. For example, in the North Andaman, we found Avicennia alba and Cyanometra, which is first record from the Andaman Islands. Similarly, in the Nicobar part, we found 6 new species which are colonizing in the new tidal habitat, which were never reported before tsunami. So now coming to the fourth objective, what is the driver which is influencing the mangrove colonization? And we found that herbivory pressure by spotted deer, which is invasive, and domestic cattle is influencing majorly in the mangrove colonization. And I hope you must have visited our poster on day 1, where my colleague Mr. Tirumurugan has presented this work extensively. And then we also think that since this cattle and spotted deer, they are accessing this mangrove area from the terrestrial forest, hence the landward zone mangrove, or the mangrove which is colonizing at the ecotone of mangrove and terrestrial forest, are severely impacted. For example, like Exocaria agaluca, you see that it's the highest number of grazed plant species. Now, we also see that herbivory has a palatability preference for different mangrove species. For example, if you see the number of new sapling and seedlings colonizing in this intertidal habitat, Cereops tuggle, it is highest in number, and this also we noticed in so many sites across the Andaman and Nicobar Island. For example, if you see this image, the beetle is even grazing the pencil roots of Avicennia marina. So we suspect that herbivory would delay the mangrove recovery and also alter the species composition in future times. So with all this plot data, very fine scale vegetation data, and hotspot map with potential area available for colonization, we try to communicate this information to our forest managers. And for that, we conducted 5 mangrove sensitization workshop and trained around 150 forest staff so that they can make better choices, better decisions while they are planning for restoration or plantation in the mangroves. Now the way forward is to understand, to take forward this study and understand what is the flux of soil in the mangroves. For that, we have installed contemporary research method technique called RSET and data logger, which is first time in India. And to know more about this, please visit our poster number 5. And we also want to understand the mangrove associate fauna and its response to sea level change. And to know more about this, please visit our poster number 12. And the third objective is we want to map the potential area available for mangrove colonization in Andaman Island. And the last one is to evaluate the impact of mangrove loss on the ecosystem services. So the take-home message is, it's appear that land uplift is more destructive compared to the land subsidence, and subsided sites are recovering faster compared to the uplift sites. and the rate of natural colonization is increasing in the recent year. However, if certain sites require human assistance to increase the rate of colonization, and we also need to check drivers such as herbivore pressure, marine litter, which would impact the colonization and species composition in longer run. So with this, I would like to acknowledge following people, and also I would like to narrate a short story that, yeah, a short story. Uh, I was introduced to WI in 2019, and uh, exactly during the ARS time. And Dr. Nehru was presenting this, I mean, the initial findings of this project. And after listening to his talk, I told to my friend that this is what I want to pursue. And after 4 years, I am here presenting or concluding the project. So thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
Wonderful, wonderful. With the permission of the chair, now we will take the question and answers. I'll request all the speakers to come on to the stage. Except maybe Mr. Asit, I think your presentation was crystal clear. It was a long session, it's a long list of questions. I think your Ajit, he compliments your work, good work. How many specimens you collected? Out of which, how many species are identified? And then how do you collect it? Was it invasive or non-invasive? It should be invasive. Then the observation method.
Thank you for the question and thank you for the compliment. So, from Arunachal Kamlang Namdapha, we collected around 200 approx. And so, with each species, if we not sure the identity, we collect 2 specimens. We photograph them. We take the tissue sample from the muscle, and so identification part is not done yet. Once we are done with the molecular analysis, then only we can tell how many exact species are there. But based on the morphology, 82 species that I already showed in the presentation.
Thanks. Next is Mirza. Mirza, there are 8 questions. So we'll take maximum 2 questions and the questions will be to the guests. First question is by Mukesh, Dr. Mukesh. Compliments. It's a nice presentation.
Thank you.
Want to ask the question? Do you remember the question?
So in your section analysis, you showed that captive population is something isolated from the wild.
Yes.
So I believe the captive individuals is all the way to wild. They want to be isolated from wild. So how come do you have any explanation of this? Why there are two distinct classes?
Yes, because thank you for the question. First of all, the captive population has been established initially with a pair of fungi, a male and a female. That was introduced in Alipurdu in 1956, and since 1956 there has been no introduction of wild individual to the captive population, and all the captive population is derived from that single pair. So that is why the structure is there, because the FST values are also low, so it justifies the thing, I guess.
Next question is by Dr. Shivakar, faculty from IT. Sir, do you want to ask the question? Hello. Yes, a very good presentation. Compliment.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, we were asking something about the integrated management plan.
Yes.
So in description, so regarding the founder population control, because in one of the slides I saw from the year 2008, there's an increase in the founder population and then so slight increase in the population simultaneously. So just curious to know what are the insights in this aspect of founder, the industry's competition.
Yes, exactly. The howdeer population is steadily increasing, and it is a direct threat to the survival of sungai. So we have prescribed some management interventions, because the only way possible to manage the howdeer population is to relocate them to other viable habitats in the surrounding habitats. So that is the recommendation we can propose. We have proposed actually in the management plan to take howdeer to other
Thank you, Mr. That's it for you. Sushi, couple of questions for you. First from Mukesh. Yeah. Question, please. Yeah. In your phylogenetic analysis, I believe you have an outgroup, probably you have a better.
Yes, I had used outgroup there. I used Java Rhino as an outgroup.
When maybe I mean phylogenetic, I was down, I not use it now.
No, so because first I used all of the 5 extant rhino species, and after that, because Java Rhino is the closest taxonomy, it's a sister taxonomy.
If you are doing a rhino phylogenetic,
No, so we used horse and tapir as well from the Perissodactyla family. I did not show it in the analysis, but it's there. And because because the photo was shot and rhino was Java Rhino was defining more the data more, so I used that as well.
so it is like pertaining to the slide that you presented. The second question is like you talk about the genetic health and you have used neutral markers. And so how do you interpret or explain using the genetic neutral markers and then talking about genetic health? So there is no role in natural selection and adaptation.
Okay, so I'm not using all that information, I'm just using it as a proxy to define the genetic.
I think one of your objectives was to define genetic health. You have talked about the FIS, FIT, and you have discussed about the population as a high and low genetic health. So my concern is like using the neutral markers which do not have any role in the natural and healthy selection. It's better when you use some adaptive markers, maybe some immunogenetic markers like MLC and others, and then you talk about the genetic health.
Yes, that is why I'm saying I just used it as a proxy. So, like for example, the FIT value, it is giving information on the inbreeding of the population. So, if we look at in a population level, I think the diversity would be a more good indicator of how the population, how the population is doing in a landscape.
Yeah. Next question, Ramesh, maybe you can ask.
So first of all, good presentation. I was thinking about the recommendation. Given this population 500, then the number you also mentioned about inbreeding, and you also said the transportation. But given the challenges of transportation, is it necessary to transfer the information or artificial intelligence recommendation? If so, will your study has any analysis of individuals, which population, which animal can be brought in? Only the research project will be very useful.
Okay, I've not looked into the artificial insemination thing what you're saying, but given the objectives of our project, we look into the genetic parameters only. So for now, on the basis of our project, we only can recommend on the translocation and reintroduction. I will definitely look into that artificial insemination.
Thank you. Thank you, Shish. Next is Dr. Shomika. You have a couple of questions. The first one is from Dr. Lalit. Dr. Lalit. Yeah.
Thank you for a very good presentation. There was a doubt, in the abstract I have seen the amount of data that is generated is different what basically is mentioned in the slide. Because in the abstract you were mentioning about something of 800 GB data, 300 GB data, but when presenting you were mentioning about 128 GB. So there is a huge difference because the data can be subjective. So if we change the data, then the depth will go and the interpretation will also get affected.
No, I didn't change the data. I think there might be an error because I don't remember the difference. Sorry.
The next question is from so my question is related to the variant calling and the pipeline you have used for variant calling.
Sorry, who's this? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So the pipeline I want to understand because you said this is the first genome of the speaker, right?
That's the swatted cat.
This
this is perhaps not the de novo sequencing. You have done resequencing.
It's not a resequencing, it's
On the pipeline you use for the very project.
so this is not a resequencing. This is the first time a genome has been sequenced. Okay, so I can't describe the pipelines right now. It will take a long time.
No, I'm see, de novo sequencing is like the characterization of the genome which you have not done. So this is basically when you have all the variants, you have used some raster. So I wanted to understand what basically you have used the raster and the pipeline for the causing of the variants.
So this entire analysis was done in ISIR Bhopal by a collaborator. Okay, so this was aligned over there. It was aligned to an existing domestic cat sequence, basically, because that was used as a base, the reference.
It's not a de novo sequence. Anyway, the second question.
Yeah, but it's a first. What I didn't mention about de novo, I just said this was the first rusty spotted cat genome that was sequenced.
Yeah, because somebody using the raster and aligning the variants. So it's not a de novo. Anyway, the second question I want to understand whether you have any ROS to understand the breeding or the declining population which you mentioned.
I didn't mention inbreeding. I just said the population is declining based on coalescent events.
Yeah.
So it's a bottleneck. That does not mean it's inbred.
Okay.
Yeah, the inbred, when you talk about inbreeding as an inbreeding depression, is a different thing. I'm talking about a bottleneck. Okay, and still, despite the bottleneck, we do have a substantial effect in population size when it comes out of the bottleneck.
Thank you. Discussion. Yeah, that's it, Dr. Shomika. Thank you. Next is Rohit. Rohit, you have many questions, plenty of questions. First question is from the research. This is a very short presentation.
I'd like to apologize to the audience first that I exceeded 5 minutes.
Sir, pangolins.
Yeah, pangolins. What is it? Pangolins in the region?
No, unfortunately, we did not detect any signs of inbreeding.
No sign.
Porcupine, yes, but not pangolin.
But the question is, if not,
I'm not aware. Maybe poaching might be a reason because there is complete absence of carnivores as well. So something is happening in that landscape that we cannot really figure out because there is high abundance of herbivores, but the top predator or the apex or the guild of predators, carnivores, top carnivores is not there.
next question is from Dr. Ramesh.
Basically talking about all the training projects, most of the time we spend a lot of effort in versus the quantitative side. Just mitigation measure. There is a reduced stress on the population in the larger context. So we don't seem to be addressing most of the time, even with the study also that I'm talking about it. My concern was if you don't incorporate the larger population context, we don't do integrated overlay management, it is not a landscape approach. Neither is a mitigation in the long sense. So when we want to widen the road, when we say that can be best, unless you go beyond the road and then look at what is the population level stress. So this is a policy you might be following the track. This is a kind of conversation. So maybe you are the right person to think. This is also applicable to all such a thing.
I agree, sir. I just have a short point to make. So the expansion of linear infrastructure in the country is actually an opportunity to rethink on where these infrastructures should be probably realigned somewhere else so that they don't impose high cost on wildlife and ecosystems. That is the opportunity that probably the Ministry of Railways, Ministry of Road, and Ministry of Environment and Forest should think together, come together, and probably delineate areas which are very important for certain wildlife and ecosystems. We should not be going there. Rather, even if the realigned route is long and it takes probably more money to do it, we should
Milan, you want to ask? Okay, I'll read through Dr. Milan's session. Compliments for a great campaign talk about social geopolitical. Any recommendations regarding mitigation planning, how many structures, etc.?
So we have for now suggested more than 150 structures, and this is in collaboration with DFCCIL themselves. They themselves have learned a lesson from their Gautam Buddha sanctuary experience of Bihar. So they themselves have come out with a very comprehensive list of structures that includes viaducts, culverts, all kinds of culverts in fact, and even underpasses. Now our job is to actually integrate all the data that we have collected. Some of it I showed it on slides today, but there is much more to do. So for example, for now only 28% of the proposed alignment will be made permeable, but this number could go up.
That's fine. Vinny, we'll take one question. From one of our MSc students, Kushi. Kushi compliments your presentation, great presentation, sir. Other human communities whose adaptive capacity to climate change has turned out to be a positive indicator for the sustainability of human ecosystem while conducting both phases. Can you repeat? Are there human communities?
Phase one, we have done socio-economic survey based on different aspects. I'm not well aware about that. But yeah, we have identified certain communities, certain villages who are adaptive in terms of climate change adaptation, changing their agricultural patterns and other socio-economic aspects. I think
Very important observation by hello, Ravi. I know that you have been giving very nice presentation previously also. One very important thing which I observed is that you were mentioning about having a web-based portal for decision support system. But there is a huge concern for this particular objective because the national mission on making money as well as under the agency also. And of course, there is working group number 5 of the NTI, which says that this DSS has to be done by. So I think they are the medium of that, and they should not be for the huge amount of investment. And I'm totally aware of it because I'm sitting in the meetings with the mountain division that it's about 100 crore rupees and for making this kind of a good quality. So please do that.
thank you for the suggestion, sir. But our DSS should be largely based on the provided and what we have been doing from the last 5 to 6 years. And it will be available for the stakeholders. Our idea is to develop scenarios based on the wild fauna, not looking on the flora that GB Pal is doing. Thank you.
I would like to just add that the DSC energy program is trying to get all the 6 task forces to develop their DSS, web-based information, because all these 6 task forces will be talking to each other and DSC. And the idea is to make every institution have their own web-based data sets for their respective tasks. Like we are for wildlife. GB1 is only looking at only vegetation. Bhadia Institute is only for geology. NH Rookie is looking for only water and ice, and so on and so forth. So everybody houses their databases in their respective organizations. So the users, stakeholders can use the systems because we would maintain our formal databases here and update it regularly.
It's not unique to some. Every organization will have a database. And it will be connected because we are talking about interoperable database, wherein institutions can connect to each other and also people in Delhi can connect with this and use it. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next is Akshay. Couple of questions. One is from Dr. Rasiri. Do you think installing light and sound screen on elevated overpasses improve the emissions by wildlife elements?
Thank you for the question, sir. Yes, sir, definitely that is a description that we give regularly. They are not installed currently on the underpasses that I just talked about. They have been installed on the Madhya Pradesh side, and I believe WCPS is monitoring, so we will get to know from their results.
Next is the suggestion from Sudeep. Crossing rates can be scaled by annual density while comparing between groups like yes, thank you. Next is Manisha. Manisha Ashok. One question from Dr. Rajit. Kaziranga is already best protected and people take pride in this. Do you still think your effort is needed surrounding the park? You mentioned the elephant's name is Baba or Dangori or Baba.
Sir, it's also called Baba and it's also called as Dangoria. But it's like most of the time it's called Baba.
First, Kaziranga is already best protected.
Okay.
People take pride in this.
Yes.
Local communities.
Yes. Yes.
Do you still think this effort is still required?
Yes, sir. Effort is still required because, sir, as I said, human behavior is always subjected to change. This might change at any point of time. Today, the people have a positive perception towards rhino, tiger, that okay, it's a part of the forest, it's a part of the god. But sir, tomorrow it might change. It is not a constant behavior. So, like, we need to work on strengthening their, social capital and also financial assets for this.
Thank you. Final question to Chennai, not to Chennai. The question is from Chennai. She compliments the great work. Was the community composition of mangroves similar across the sites? If not, how do you decide your control set?
Thank you, Chinmaya, for the question. So basically, how we selected the sites is based on the level of uplift or subsidence or the impact of the coastal shifting regimes. So the control site is basically the area, like I showed in that that line. It is the center in the middle Andaman area where there is no shift in in the level of the surface. Where that's where and all the mangroves are intact in that area, and that's why we selected that area as our control.
I think because tsunami was a community composition similar across all the islands.
We can say that it is going to be similar because the entire Andaman Island is having the similar environmental condition and similar tidal influence. So it should be same.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. You can all be seated. Thank you so much. So with this, we end this answer session. I will read my comments. I compliment all the speakers and their supervisors for the wonderful work and the presentation. This is a request, Krishna Kundal, another coach to give his comments.
Presentation and mind-blowing interaction just happened. And personally, sir, I'm deeply inspired by the presentation we have just witnessed in the session. The name of the session is Be Inspired. But you see the others we have just seen in the presentations and magnitude of information, you can call this session as a big station. Bad. And I'm very happy to see the presenters from WI and second board because I am also from second before joining the ministry. I was a faculty member in SACMA, and I'm really glad that both the institutes have now joined hands here together. Sir, one small thing I just want to mention. Sir, I was on the other side from that. I presented in this dash from 2007 to 2012 for 6 years. And that time we mostly used to present on 4 different implementation with code research has increased many codes. I mean, it is a commendable effort by WI, and I thank Director WI and the former directors and all the faculty members for this. And it will really help us in the ministry also for decision making thing. And I thank to all the presenters for their time effort involving intensive research, crucial findings. Nice delivery. Thank you.
The session said Dr. V. Kumar for his closing remarks and comments, overall remarks. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Very much. Ishan, Dr. Gopi. I don't have to say much. First, of course, it's my duty to organize to ask from this side, especially in front of the lines of many of the lines of management and science and the future of conservation. As a matter of fact, very quickly, the way presentations were, they were visually appealing. Your arguments were very convincing. Your content was very, very strongly science based, and your articulation and confidence was, extremely, it was kind of becoming of this particular institution which gives name to both you as well as the institution. Extremely, I feel very proud of being here and listening. Honestly speaking, I don't have even a minuscule percentage of knowledge that you guys have conveyed. For me, it has been a great learning session. I have learned a great deal. And I would close by saying what Dr. P.K. Mathur said over the lunch, that had we not come here, we would have lost. I think that sums up the whole experience of the last 2 days. As a matter of fact, I was here for a year and I've seen all of you doing excellent job. And as Dr. Mandal said, I think what I want to communicate, you have said that over the years now there is a great relevance and great integration of the science and the management. But I would just make a small suggestion. It would be perhaps, I don't know whether it will happen, because state governments have to also look at this particular event as a very, very important event of drawing science into management. And perhaps a request to all the states would go from here for being present for the presentations, which relates to, for example, Jharkhand officers are here. So what to see that officers from Jharkhand, unless the forest manager, and as a manager, I am trying to say, we foresters have been always excellent in looking into this whole world of nature from the eyes of trees. But now, we have to start seeing from eyes of samba. Say, so this multiplicity of life which is now coming up to your research and which has to be ultimately managed on those small pieces of land or protected areas or forests. Therefore, managers have to take a very big responsibility of integrating this science. I mean, we have Dr. Rajesh Gopal, you all hear now today about tiger reserves. And tiger reserves are kind of, representatives of how science can be kind of introduced, used for improving management. And I think Dr. Rajesh Gopal will be talking to us later. And like managers have greater responsibility of using this research. Otherwise, managers would just be there and there. I'm very thankful once again to Director, everyone having given me this opportunity here. Also to feel as if I was in the field, putting my field presence coming here like otherwise now post retirement mostly you are in your pajamas or in knickers. So this is a wonderful time for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request the co-chair, Dr. Gopi, sir, to kindly present a token of our gratitude to the chair and co-chairs. Unyal Saab first.
competition.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll end our technical sessions here. We're running slightly